and his perspectives and giving us some information on the the preliminary work that's been done in terms of consultants and feasibility studies and what could be the way forward for the construction of the causeway. We're changing gears now. It's 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. Coming up, AMCHAM, the American Chamber of Commerce, as the premier business organization for trade investment and export-oriented growth in Trinidad and Tobago, is embarking on a trade mission to Haiti to shine spotlight on the trade and investment potential within that country. Our guests are the president of AMCHAM, Mr. Hugh Howard, and also senior trade and projects officer with AMCHAM T&T, Melissa Pierre. Good morning and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start with Mr. Howard. And this, Mr. Howard, what would have precipitated the idea for AMCHAM to look at Haiti as a potential investment, to check out investment possibilities and also trade possibilities? Very often, the region and the world looks at Haiti in a different light.
Yes, Paul. You know, there's a saying, there is a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fame and fortune. We are of the view that Haiti is currently experiencing that flood tide. Now, why do I say that? If you look at 2010, that devastating earthquake, Haiti had a negative GDP growth of 5.5%. In 2014, last year, we had positive growth of 2.8%. And the IMF is forecasting a growth between 3 and 3.5% for 2015. So that tells you that Haiti is on an upward trend. Additionally, there are several aspects about Haiti which we all may not be fully aware of. Population is 10.4 million. So that means that you have a potential market there that is several times the size of Trinidad and Tobago, or even the rest of CARICOM collectively. You look at the demographics of Haiti, a lot of the people in Haiti are young, vibrant. It's estimated that about 60% of that population would be under 30 years of age. We also have to recognize that in terms of Haiti's position as an exporter, about 80% of what Haiti produces gets into the US and the Canadian market duty-free. It seems to us, therefore, that this is a great opportunity for Trinidad and Tobago to go in there, because Haiti lacks quite a number of areas for development. We look at the education system, we can make a contribution. We look at the manufacturing, we can make a contribution. We can look at services in general, we can make a contribution. And that's the main reason why we decided that we would want to go into Haiti. And we decided also that we are not going to just sit here and assume that A is A and B is B. So consequently, we had our excellent senior trade officer, Melissa, and our CEO, Nirad Tiwari, go to Haiti. You know, you go on the ground, look around, speak with your counterparts there, you know, the AMCHAM Haiti people and so on. So I have no doubt that Melissa would be able to.
Melissa, what did that field trip, as it were, yield to you? What surprised you most, and what are the opportunities that we sometimes take for granted? Where others see crisis, there's obviously some potential for investment and trade.
Well, definitely. I mean, we took this mission. We spent a good 3 days in Haiti, really to, the trade mission is going to take place in June. It's going to be around the, AMCHAM Haiti is having a business future of the Americas. So AMCHAM Trinidad and Tobago belongs to a wider network of AMCHAMs. And every year, we have a Business Future of the Americas conference taking place in a particular country outside of the United States. This year it's going to take place in Haiti, and therefore we did this mission, this pre-mission, to essentially see what was going on, meet with potential investors, listen to, for example, the Digicel Group, listen in terms of the Marriott investment. So there's quite a lot of investment taking place within Haiti. We also met with the Center for Investment within Haiti, which would be our Invest City across there. And there are a number of sectors that are open for investment. And what they do is that they take investors from beginning to end. They walk you through the process. There are a number of on-the-ground investments. It was really surprising because our view of Haiti is not a market that is ready for investment, but it actually is. So you have quite a lot of people who, also, for example, they're doing quite a lot of work in IT. They've developed quite a lot of hardware, and they're looking for joint ventures with persons who can do software development. So Haiti is actually ready for investment. We met with their minister of, what would be their Minister of Commerce. We met with the AMCHAM Haiti, who actually their conference is based on diaspora investment, because quite a lot of Haitians get money based on diaspora investment. So Haiti is open for business. It was really interesting meeting with persons. A lot of them are actually bilingual, trilingual. So they don't just speak French, they actually speak English and Spanish. So it is a market where you have a lot of people ready. You have workers that are ready.
Next question for both of you. I'll start with Mr. Howard in it. Mr. Howard referenced a 10 million population. Given what we know of Haiti, and you could tell me if this is an accurate assessment, what is the disposable income of these 10 million? Given what we've seen of the devastation, do they have disposable income to support businesses? Are the systems of transport, telecom, financial systems at the levels that can support sustained and business and growth?
Good question, and it is something that we have to be fully aware of. And that is the development of Haiti, unfortunately, over the years, has not gone in the direction that it could have gone. So you do have a certain level of illiteracy and so on there. But that, from the point of view of Trinidad and Tobago, is an opportunity. We can then go in, after all, we are system members of CARICOM. We can go in and give the Haitians the benefit of what we have developed over the past 50, 60 years. So that if we are seen now as holding the hands of our sister country, when, not if, when Haiti develops, they are going to see us as part of that system, see us as the country that really came to their rescue and assistance when they needed it.
So it's not necessarily to be considered a goodwill mission entirely. It's a goodwill mission, yes, but with tangible benefits down the road, Melissa.
Definitely, because as you were saying, one of the things we've recognized is there are significant opportunities, for example, in financial services. Right now, there are 2 banks in Haiti, 2 foreign banks. We have their Citibank and their Scotiabank, which means that there are significant opportunities for our local banks to get in there and offer some financial services in terms of construction. So a lot of their transportation system is still a work in progress. A lot of the devastation of the earthquake, you can still see it on the island. A lot of infrastructure work needs to be done, and therefore there is an opportunity for our construction companies to go across there and assist. They're looking at their tourism sector, and again, there is opportunities there to help service some of the hotels. I mean, the Marriott just went, it hasn't even been officially open, but it's a huge investment. And therefore, there is numerous opportunities for our investors to actually get in there, do some joint ventures with some Haitian companies and reap some benefits from it.
Mr. Howard, how concerned is AMCHAM about the shortcomings that we've heard over the years in terms of governance in Haiti, accountability and transparency issues where investments and large investments at that, where governments seem very transient and instability sometimes politically, where you're asking or we're asking persons to take a chance, do goodwill, make an investment for potential down the road. Those are some significant concerns.
Yeah, we are very conscious of those factors. But I'd like to point out that, you know, since August of last year, the issue with respect to elections, because, you know, that had been a sore point. No election date being set, no steps being taken. But since August last year, they have begun to implement the necessary arrangements for holding free and fair elections. And as far as I'm aware, you're going to be having the presidential election this year.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been those changes. I think Haiti recognizes that unless those human rights issues are fully addressed, they are going to lose the opportunity of the resurgence of development in the United States and to a certain extent in Europe. I mean, look, even China is coming into places where they recognize that the rule of law is in existence and very viable, because they would not want to know that they come into a country and the country does what it is alleged that China did years ago, you know, took intellectual property and so forth and utilized it. So I believe that with that awareness, you're going to find that the issues of human rights in Haiti are going to be brought within what we in Trinidad and Tobago regard as necessary.
I'll pose a question. We're going to take a break for headlines and come back. Is there a hope, or have you seen tangible moves in that direction by the administration in Haiti? And you can answer that when we come back. It is, let me give you an early morning time check at 30 minutes after 7 o'clock. Here's a look at headlines making news at this time. Charlene Carlester dies 1 month after giving birth to her only son Isaac via cesarean section. The Health Minister Dr. Fuad Khan awaits Charlene's autopsy reports. No T&T nationals reported to be injured in the riots in Baltimore in the U.S. stemming from the death of Freddie Gray. Former Minister in the Ministry of Finance Mariana Brown says the entire situation surrounding Emailgate is representative of how little faith people in this country have in institutions. And internationally, streets in Baltimore, U.S. looked like a war zone early Tuesday night, a night of riots, fires, and heartbreak. Stay with us for more and these and other stories at the top of the hour. Welcome back, 7:30 for our friends from AMCHAM are here, and they're taking a trade mission this coming June to Haiti. Our guests are Melissa Pierre, Senior Trade and Projects Officer with AMCHAM T&T, and Mr. Hugh Howard, the President of AMCHAM. Mr. Howard, I posed a question before. Is the hope for better governance and accountability a wish on your part, or do you see definitive moves in that direction? There's a big furor in Haiti now over the construction of a stadium. With limited resources, when people are still living in tents after an earthquake and a hurricane, and also electricity in some areas has not been restored for years. Running water, sanitation is an issue. So while the mission is laudable, there's some definitive concerns, some practical concerns in life in Haiti.
Yeah, well, I think you find that in every country. I mean, look at what transpired in Brazil in terms of their hosting the World Cup. And billions of dollars were spent on stadia and other facilities. And you had people flowing into the streets demonstrating against that because they say, hey, look, you know, we need houses, we need food, and so on. So it is not unique to Haiti. It's a question of priorities of the government. We have our own issues here in Trinidad and Tobago as to priorities. So what I believe is necessary is the more you have countries like Trinidad and Tobago, the developed countries, going in and lending assistance in educating the people so that they can then demand what they regard as priorities, demand of the politicians. And I have no doubt that this is going to take place. Now, I would like to point out that, you know, there is an American Chamber of Commerce in Haiti. And they, like ourselves, we belong to the ACLA umbrella organization. We are also very much associated with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And through that network, what you are going to find is that there must be development, because the AMCHAM Haiti has to comply with the requirements of ACLA, and then in turn the business community of Haiti will have to ensure that these human rights issues and the question of development takes place. And I mean, enlightened self-interest. If you don't develop, you're just going to disappear.
Minister Pierre, give us a sense of what range of businesses or manufacturers would be interested in this mission to Haiti, this trade mission.
Okay, so what we're doing on Thursdays, that we're having a doing business segment at Hotel Normandy, where we've invited broadly private sector to attend. And at that doing business, we're going to have representatives from the Haitians Investment Facilitation. They're going to join us via web link, as well as from the AMCHAM Haiti, to sort of discuss some of the sectors and to tell you about the potential for real investment. Outside of that, though, agro-processing companies that are involved in food and beverage, agro-processing, there's a major need in Haiti. Haiti imports over $2 billion every year. I mean, there's a significant opportunity for us to engage in import substitution. We have financial services, major investment, construction in terms of roofing, so those segments of construction. Larger construction, the DR would have the advantage. So we're looking at roofing, we're looking at PVC pipes, we're looking at IT firms, so software development, companies involved in that. We're looking at tourism, so you're looking at
tourism services also.
Tourism services. You're also looking at the bed, bath, and body shampoos to help.
Luxury items.
Yes. Those,
personal care items.
Yeah. So for a lot of hotels and hotel chains that are being developed, Lots a lot of opportunities there.
What should people do, manufacturers or businesses do if they want to participate?
What they should do is to go on our website or to send an email to Melissa Pear, one word, at AMCHAMTT.com and register to attend our session on Thursday at Hotel Normandy. Because if you really want to get a real look in terms of the market and find out some of the meetings we're going to be able to arrange for you, that's the best opportunity.
And then the official mission goes
The
in
official
June.
mission is going to take place in June. It is linked with the AMCHAM's Business Future of the Americas conference. And what that offers is really 24 business leaders throughout the region is going to be there as well. And that really offers you the opportunity to not just know about the Haitian market, but rather to know about, the whole Western Hemisphere. If you are looking for Costa Rica, Guatemala,
So it's
you have that
networking
opportunity.
golden
Yeah.
networking opportunity.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much for coming in, Mr. Hugh Howard, President of AMCHAM, and also Melissa Pear, Senior Trade and Projects Officer with AMCHAM T&T. For more information on Thursday's session, you can go to AMCHAM's website and certainly more information on the mission heading out in June. We take a short break and come back with more. We'll come back, our friends from the Unit Trust Corporation. This is Good Morning T&T Tuesday.